Hi everyone, it's Annalie from seventhsensehealing.com. I hope you are all well and have survived the full moon energy, which I personally found quite intense. But it's been a lovely sunny weekend here in Devon, so try and get out in the sunshine and have some walks in the sun, maybe at the beach, in the woods or at the river, and ground yourselves and get that energy of the sun in. We don't get much of it in the winter and we all sort of lack a bit of vitamin D. So yeah, get some of that nice sun energy today if you can, or when it's sunny over the next week or two. So I'm doing a reading today. Now I'm using the Divine Feminine cards, the Crystal Angel cards, and Everyday Coaching cards, which is a new pack that a friend gave to me. So we've got a real mixed reading coming from these three. So the Divine Feminine cards are fairly newer to me, and there's always an interesting story about the women. So I chose that one first rather than shuffle, so I can give you a bit more of an accurate review of the goddess that's come to us. So the first card that came out of the Divine Feminine Goddess pack today was Mirror by, and it's the Saint of True Freedom. And it says, "Love is what sets me free. I am married to my own soul." So when I got that card, I was thinking, love is what sets me free. What does that mean for us? So my own initial thoughts were, well, we need to really love ourselves. And this year for me, I'm making an effort to look after myself really well, take time out, rest, relax, not overcommit myself with things, really make sure I have that time to restore my energy and bring balance into my life. And that's a big act of self-love, setting boundaries, saying no to people, doing only what feels right for you. So then I read about the card in the book, and these are Megan Watterson cards. And this lady is a goddess, and she's Indian goddess, and she's from around the late 15th century and was a princess. So she got married into a sort of a royal type family system. But being Indian and being sort of the Hindu faith, she felt that Krishna was her true husband rather than the husband that she married. And she got into a lot of trouble for not following the expectations set of her. But she knew that her real love was that of the divine, and in her case, the divine was Krishna. So she set herself apart from what was expected of her, particularly as a woman in India, even today, and in the sort of late 15th century, you've got to be pretty brave and strong to do that. And she became a saint of the Bhakti movement, a poet. So Bhakti is a form of yoga, and it's a devotional yoga where you devote yourself to the divine, the divine in the universe, the divine within us. Namaste means I bow to the divine within, or bow to the divine in you. So we've all got this divine energy inside of us. So the message from this card was, we know inside of us what's really right for us and what's the right thing to do. And that comes from a place of pure love. And often we're looking outside for guidance. And when we look outside for guidance, there can be expectations that others have on you. So maybe friends, family, work colleagues, bosses, partners, everybody, children as well. They have an expectation of what they think your role is in life and what your role should be. And, maybe this is what I expect a wife to be like, or a partner, or a mum, or a daughter, or a, whatever your work is or business. And people can put those expectations on you. And those expectations are not necessarily what you want to do from within or coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of what other people want from you. They have their own agenda and their own needs, and if you don't meet those, then they're not getting that energy they want from you. But actually you need to decide what's the right thing for you to do, and that comes from a place of being strong and from love and really tuning in and listening within. So the message from this card was, what holds me back from expressing my truth? So thinking about yourself, being who you want to be, being real, being authentic, being true, and really going inwards and looking at what is the things that you want to do. So it does follow on from the moon reading a bit, where we had the self-devotion, self-reflection card, and I think also from the reading I did before over the holidays when we had love coming up a couple of times. And for me this year, my yoga workshops are all going to be about self-care, which is self-love, and looking after ourselves comes from a place of love. So yeah, don't just go on what other people's expectations are of you. Think about what you want to achieve in life and do, and choose that from your own divine guidance within and a place of love. So really nice card to start with. So I haven't chosen the other cards in advance, so I'm going to, I didn't choose, I shuffled the pack like I do, but I just wanted to read in the book about that goddess, Indian princess and poet, before I did the reading. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're getting the same messages coming through. So this is the Crystal Angels pack, and we've got the Crystal Angel Sapphire, and it's saying easy does it. Your health, happiness and abundance requires a gentle approach to life and work. So this message comes out, many different decks in a different form, but I did say, the full moon reading, I don't think it's a time to really push ourselves too much forward at the moment. We're in winter, we should be resting, reflecting, eating good food, taking care of ourselves. But this is also talking about life and work. So maybe for some of you, there's a job you're doing that makes you feel stressed or tired or pulls you in too many different directions. And that gentle approach needs to be applied to your work as well as day-to-day life. So really looking inwards, like from the other card, looking inwards and really seeing what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel well, what gives you that good energy and what drains your energy. And a gentle approach to life where we're not pushing or over striving or trying to juggle too much. I think, as I've said before, that abundance and that flow will come in. So if we're pushing against the flow, it's harder for things to come with us. If we're working with the flow and going with the flow a bit more and not overdoing it, not being exhausted, not trying to do everything from an empty cup. I say all this stuff, this is something I'm forever working on myself. So yeah, I'm sort of saying it to you, but knowing it's something we all need to work on too, including me. So really thinking about how you're going to balance your time this year. What commitments do you want to make? What's going to drain your energy? What's going to make you feel more energized? People, work, events, commitments, managing your diary so you're not overscheduling, maybe not seeing friends as much for a bit, whilst you ground and get your energy back and look inwards. So yeah, loads of messages coming out there, but I feel it's a real theme coming through in all the readings and how I'm feeling and how I'm going to be sharing in my yoga classes and workshops this year too. Okay, so these are cards I got off a friend who'd done a coaching course a few years ago, and she gave them to me to use perhaps when I'm doing one-to-one work with clients, maybe on nutrition or healing or those sorts of things. But I was guided to draw a card from here for you all today too. So that's gosh, this is a really cool one. So it says, if you were to go back in time, what advice would you give your younger self? So have a think about what that means for you. As we look back and reflect, and as we take some time out, and as I've moved house and I'm sort of in a new house and got more sort of time on my own, I'm sort of really self-reflecting. Even if I'm not intentionally doing it, I'm doing it. And it is that time of year where we do that, I think, anyway. As we look forward to the next year and the next 10 years, what advice would you give your younger self? I think for me personally, I always want everything kind of now type person. So I've got loads of things I want to work on still in my life, and I always want to do them now. So I sort of like do loads of training and courses and want to do this, I want to do that, and can create quite a lot in a short space of time. But actually I often get the message in I think it's the Work Your Light deck, that it's a life work, it's not a season, and that one comes up for me quite a lot lately, and I keep reminding myself that. So as I think, should I do another yoga retreat, should I do this, should I do that, and I do, I'm being careful not to overdo it and over plan, and maybe things I've got in my mind I can do next year or the year after, I don't need to do it all now. So that's a lesson I'd tell myself. So think about what's yours. What advice would you give your younger self? really interesting one, and have a think about that. So we've got some really good cards this week. So we've got the love is what sets me free. So looking inwards, not following others' expectations of you, and doing what feels right for you. Easy does it. We're probably going to get this message every week this month. So take it easy, not just in your personal life, but also at work, and maybe look at your work and what you need to change. Have you been overdoing it? Has it been too stressful? What do you need to change in your work? And what advice would you give your younger self? So give that advice to yourself now, because it will still apply for the rest of your life, and it takes us a long time to work through our own learnings and messages. So have a great week, everybody. Get out in nature for a bit, eat well, look after yourselves, rest, have salt baths, do some yoga, do some meditation, do some relaxing practices, take some time out, look at your diary, cut some things out if you can, don't overschedule, and really just look after yourselves this next few months. Thank you, everyone.